Hi everybody, Brad McCullough here, Advanced Technology Services. In a previous video, I introduced the concept of a factory maintenance assessment. An assessment that really helps you understand how your maintenance is performing and how it can be improved. I also talked about 7 categories of investigation, areas that we'd look at in detail to really understand how the maintenance program is working and try to find a way to improve it. Now we're going to take a look at each one of these categories individually and kind of get into the subcomponents. Talk a little bit more about how we would dive into this and understand how maintenance is performing and how we might be able to improve it. So let's take a look. Hi. So when we talk about processes, there are several areas of investigation that we'll get into in detail. And here's some of them. The work order process. It's very important that we look at how do we open work orders? How do we assign work orders? How do we close work orders? And what kind of data do we want to collect from the problems that we see out on the shop floor? This is what's going to drive the continuous improvement effort. So it's very important that we're well organized and well documented around work orders. Spare parts processes. You can put the best maintenance team in the field and out on the floor. Without good logistics support, spare parts and materials, they won't be able to achieve their goals and deliver good maintenance and asset performance. Purchasing processes, emergency purchases. This kind of leads into the spare parts process. What parts are we going to stock? Where are we going to run risks? How do we purchase parts in a hurry? If there's local suppliers, can we get it in 24 hours? So there's a lot going on here. The other thing is, do we buy for reliability and total cost of ownership, or do we buy on the cheap? So looking into how we purchase things and make decisions is really important. Work planning processes. Are we communicating with production? How do we know when we're going to get machines to do PMs or our predictive maintenance work, all the proactive work, and are we coordinated so that there's as little interruption as possible on the floor? Of course, with the safety process, we talked about that in an earlier video. Confined space, what's the process for that? Who do we notify? Do we have to have confined space permits, welding permits? Is this documented and do we know how to train our people and get this out there so we do it properly? Continuous improvement process. As we're collecting data, do we know how we're going to pull data forward? Who's going to do the analytics? How are we going to drive improvement to not only drive asset performance, but eliminate waste in our maintenance system and program? And remember, this goes beyond just the maintenance team. This is the operations people, contractors, and others that are involved in asset performance. Okay? Is there process training for these key areas? Are we training our people, and are we auditing? Do we audit to make sure that they're doing it right and that we're following procedures, specifically around safety and other areas? This is very important. But you'll find that out around work order process and data collection if you can't drive the continuous improvement effort because you don't have enough information. And process documentation. Is it documented? Is it someplace where people can get to and review it if they don't do a particular function very often? And is it easy to read? So this is just some of the areas that we investigate when we're looking at work processes and how we actually get things done. A few of the categories. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.